All right. Yes. Welcome. What a day. What a day. What a day. Hey, appreciate you being with us. I hope everyone's having a great day today. Ran to a quick streaming issue that got resolved. So thanks for hanging out there for us. And we will kick butt and take names like normal this morning. Happy Friday. And let's see what we can do. Okay, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a great day. And I'm going to get moving here. Okay, so, I'm just going to jump over Forex Factory for a second, see what's going on out there. At 10 a.m. today, we get a chairman speaking. This is Forex Factory, and really nice thing is if you click the folder icon right here, usually gives you a blurb, and I always like why, it tells me why I should even care. As head of the central bank, which controls short-term interest rates, he has more influence over the nation's currency value than any other person. Traders scrutinize his public engagements as they are often used to drop subtle clues regarding future monetary policy. So if he starts talking at 10 a.m., there could be a lot of fluctuations in the market, or the market just may be completely sideways and dead today. And being aware of your environment is very useful when it comes to being a risk manager, trading hard and heavy, or relaxing. When I say relax, I mean not, you know, sizing to the level of a heavy trade. So I just always like to see what Asia did. Asia was up, but pretty sideways. Europe, Europe was just nothing, sideways. So there's a lot of sideways going on here. And then as of right now, relatively things are moving up in the pre-market here prior to 9:30. And it may not be a day to be looking at indexes to trade. Might want to look at something else. But we gotta be aware that the chairman will be speaking at 10. So gotta really keep that at the forefront of your mind. And I just like reading the headline here. Fed watchers want one thing from Kevin Warsh at Jackson Hole. So yeah, gonna be just very light, very light. And then for our pit traders out there, go ahead and log into your member portal, and you'll be able to get the recording from the last coaching call that we had yesterday. So everything's coming together in a beautiful fashion. Hey, great to see you guys. And I don't know exactly what time you came in, but just like I was saying, we're gonna have the Fed chairman today have a chit chat at 10 a.m. So just kind of keep that in your mind. All right. So really, as of right now, we really want to go and get our pre-market analysis, pre-market homework done. Really start to emphasize a bias, if any, and just recognizing that the markets relatively right now are, sideways. So like we were talking about in our coaching call, we're going to be really more thinking about an hour into the market, or even 90 minutes into the market, to really, see what direction we might go. So just be really, really careful. If 10 a.m. pops up, that's actually could be a good thing, where we could get a nice move, and then we could um, have a setup right after that move. So probably going to be really light this morning on trading, or not Now, I may not talk so much at this exact moment, just simply getting those pre-market lines done. And then also feeling comfortable about it. Yeah, just a lot of that sideways. So again, just taking it nice and easy, getting your work done here this morning. Yeah, overnight, just very range bound. And I would expect us to stay range bound. Yep, 10 minutes to the open. Mhm. Yeah, so really want to emphasize those extremes today. Mm-hmm. I had to reset up the stream this morning, so it was a little bit different. Let's see. All right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything is just a little bit it's really just mixed. Very highly mixed today. Oh, look, there's Carlos. Nice to see you. Mm-hmm. All right. So, anyways, very range bound, very tight, and just Walsh is going to speak at 10 a.m. So be aware of that. Really going to emphasize the extremes this morning if you can. Don't get caught up in no man's land. And, you should expect, I don't know if we'll go all the way to it, but you should expect a little bit of, uh, just really nothing this morning, especially if the Fed chairman's going to speak at 10 a.m. and get some volatility at that time. So, like we were saying, probably not really looking for some great trades until later in the day, like 10:30, 11, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this morning I was kind of looking at the Russell, but really, it's very mixed this morning. Looking at some of the other markets, it's still just absolutely sideways. So the question is, what do you see like in the market? Do you see it bullish? Do you see it bearish? What does it look like to you? And, overall, I think it really is more up. I think it really is more up. So this morning, at least, I was liking the movements of the Russell, but um, Russell's the weakest one. So I'm kind of more favoring the Dow. The neat thing about the Russell is, I wouldn't really do it, but it did just bounce off of you know, that right there. All right. Well, one thing that's very apparent at this exact moment is, it really did open inside. So, if you wanted to, you could play that fill there, which is most likely already happened on pretty much everything. Um, so we're A-okay that the market's rallying right now. Completely A-okay. Not so interested in going, looking for some shorts. So what that means here is I'm gonna let the market sell off this morning, and I'll try to reinitiate long. So market just kind of rallied above, breaking out of the Globex overnight range. Normally those are traps for a little sell-off. Probably the strongest demand zone we see is, sitting right here with the 200. So very strongly sideways here. Mhm. Wow, that'd be a bad day for anybody that was trading the Russell. That's a bad day for whoever got caught in that. I might as well just get that on the ES too. So. Yeah, so don't expect anything, you know. Really good day to work on your patience. And just remember, Fed chairman's going to be speaking around 10. Kind of asking yourself this morning, what's possible? Being a risk manager first. Yeah, there's a lot of strength on the Dow today. So that's probably what I'm gonna be looking at here. If you want to look at the ES or the S&P, definitely do that as well. So like I'm not interested in that current movement that we have going on right here. Let it sell off, let it jitter, and then if there is a high probability trade, we'll look to go with the strength of the market if it presents itself, knowing that Walsh is really going to be talking in less than 30 minutes. So again, just really letting the extremes play itself out this morning. If you wanted to look at another market, you could do that too. How many markets should you be mastering? You want to specialize, be a specialist. And, I always tell everyone, obviously specialize in one, but you could definitely do up to 3. And the nice thing about that is, if you don't see a trade on one of these markets, well, then go to another market, a more not so range bound market, a more trending market. Those are always my favorite, and I hope yours. And focus on that. But even I just flipped over looking at gold. Even gold at this moment, is going sideways. So doesn't really provide too much confidence. I don't know if you are looking at natural gas, but natural gas has changed charts to V. So just kind of be aware of that. I know we don't look at heating oil so much or gasoline. Um, could you definitely be looking at agricultures like corn and wheat? Yeah, we might actually start doing that a little bit later. Currencies, we might start looking a little bit more towards currencies, but I'm gonna stay focused on the Dow here. Mhm. For those of us in the flagship system, I'm just popping over to a 2 minute. Actually, it's foundations too. I mean, the range is really aggressive, but it's about 40 points. This little entry type sitting right here, about 40 points. So like, it's 200 bucks, but to go short here and target, probably be hitting your target right now because this is more of that fill area. You know, I wasn't so interested in that because I just want to. I'm just thinking about staying long. Going with that structure that the market's providing us. But literally right now, in the moment, we are sideways. So nice big red candle. So, sideways. I just have my screens on my textbook screens, textbook. And technically, Keith, you're here. Technically, Keith, on something like today, like if it really gets range bound, if you know where your extremes are, then I think you saw me do that little trick with you and Anthony on that one day. Like technically, you could change your chart to that if you wanted to, but I wouldn't do it. Wow. Yeah, I would feel comfortable that it's definitely going to come back and go a little bit deeper through that area. I mean, to me, that makes a lot of sense. And then, probably go ripping down there when Walsh speaks, and then stop and turn and kind of rally back up to where it was this morning. It's kind of what I'm getting the gist of. Because there's definitely demand sitting below. A good signal on the ES or MES on the 10 minute. Um, for you guys might already be long if you're on the MES. You could definitely have done that. Looking at the 10-minute chart, that. So here we are in the MES. That was a good trade, sitting right here, getting long, and then kind of rocking and rolling. If you did get it long, targets are relatively already by ringing the cash register. I would want to make sure right up here, or you've moved your stop in such a way to lock in some profits, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So good stuff on that. If you did go long, on ES or MES this morning, which is absolutely beautiful. Just at least grab some lunch money, because I wouldn't expect it to go much further. Let's see here. Another market. Okay, Carlos. I got that one on MES. My man. Nice job, dude. Move and stop loss, locking in profits, waiting on target. Solid. Okay. Very solid. Yeah, when I saw that, I thought someone might have done it. I'm watching the Dow today. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good choice. Feel free, if it makes sense to look at the YM, that's fine. But if you want to stay on MYM, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with any of those. The YM kind of just 5-minute charting gave you something. I'm kind of more gonna stay textbook today. Nicely done, Carlos. Let that thing roll, man. I'm loving it. Hey, get Carlos, get 64. I mean, you do what you need to do, right? But like you're in a big seller area, but get 64 kind of in your mind's eye. Don't let too much profit disappear from you. Um, like 750 and 3/4, you want to really kind of be strong in protecting your stuff. But you know what to do with using your stop management protocol. Yeah, the ES was that was textbook on the 10, and just kind of waiting for that on the Dow. Good, he's got it. Good man. Right. And you know, if it just for Anthony or whoever, if it doesn't present itself, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, don't get antsy with it. Just remember, Walsh is going to talk in the next literally 10 minutes. So see what he has to say here. So there's that demand zone that just kind of appeared on a 5 minute for the YM. Not so trusting in that, especially with someone and a Fed chairman going to speak in 10 minutes. No, 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 no. Anyone that's rewatching this recording or whatever, like to think that this demand zone is going to hold when someone starts talking, that would be, that'd just be, you're living in a fairy tale world. And I'm not going to be looking to place trades just 10 minutes beforehand. So, yeah, right now it's okay if you needed to, if you wanted or needed to take a break. Great job to Carlos grabbing 275 early this morning. That's just easy textbook. And that's what we're looking for, just easy textbook plays. So great job to everyone here. That's just again sticking to their rules. Great job. Say rule taker, Carlos. You know, may not be exciting, but the rules are the rules because they are the, as you guys know, rules. And great job. Great job to you. You get a trophy today. Yeah, that's a great feeling, you know? Nice little tip. Look at you giving yourself a tip in this sideways ish market. Hmm. And I tell you, the Russell's having a bad day out there for whoever. Um, the Russell's really, I mean, I know you guys aren't looking at it, but the Russell is really going for like a larger time frame area. I mean, it's the weakest one, but it's actually kind of setting up for a buy setup. Anyways, I'm not gonna allow myself to be distracted by looking at it, but hey, it is something, that's for sure. Yeah, not really much to do here on the Dow, but what are you gonna do? You just gonna wait patiently until it wants to set up itself. If you did get along on the Dow, let's say off of like a 5 minute, kind of zoom this in, you should probably just go ahead and grab your profit, especially 5 minutes before someone talking. Let's just talk about that just as an extra here. If you get in a trade prior to someone or an announcement coming out, you do one or two things. You just take your money or you move your stop up and you protect any profits. So you get a little bit more aggressive, knowing that if you get stopped out, especially with the volatility, you'll be getting some slippage there. Okay. So just gotta be aware of that. That's all. Okay. Anthony's got it. My man. Good job. And so if I break us out to like a 30-minute on the Dow, just yet again, the opening 30-minute range here is not, been up, it's been down, it's, it's been up, it's been down, it's been all around kind of thing. So you just gotta let the market develop. If you're someone like Carlos that snuck in there, what a great guy. Snuck in there quick, grabbed a few coins, jingled them around, and said, I'm out. I love it. I wouldn't push it anymore today. Just notice how easy it was. Notice how textbook, and then you captured it. And so now you're done. And then you're just kind of socking that away now. You're just kind of socking it away. One reason people don't like so much trading on Fridays because they may have a really good week and then they give some points back on a Friday. So don't want to do that. Okay. Look how excited they are. It's actually, look at that. That's crazy. All right. Well, we are just rocking to the upside here. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I know it hit that like demand area, but is that a high probability trade? The answer is no. No. Does every blind squirrel find an acorn from time to time? The answer is yes. Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow, it actually misses that quote unquote gap fill by just one tick. Um, just seconds ago. Oh my goodness. The Russell is having a terrible day today. Just want to throw that on there. Look at that. That's you guys don't believe. Well, I know you guys believe me, but people don't believe me when I talk about death wicks. That is something else. Wow. If you're wow, talk about going short on the market. If you were thinking Hey, doom and gloom. The Russell is your favorite. That's kind of funny. Just gonna switch to a 2 minute, see if there's anything of interest here. No, it's just a good way to burn some money. So, Anthony, if you're, I don't know what your time regiment is, but this is actually a good thing. I mean, Keith, I don't know if you're doing this too, but we would want, I mean, look at this range. That's crazy. But I know Carlos would say there's too much volatility, but yet he found a textbook play on the ES. Nothing wrong with if you just kind of want to use the ES, the S&P as like your middle ground. It's the best of both worlds. Long and short, trending and not. Of course, in our lesson, The Happy Family of Bears, we're trying to go with the strongest family member there, or the weakest, for the bias of the day, or even for the chart. So we want this to sell off nicely. And then look, if we're going to trade it, knowing it's overall sideways, we want it to sell off down here and then give us an opportunity to go back to the upside. Because as it goes deeper, it's actually going into a daily demand area. And the Russell is actually breaking out of its daily. So the ES has literally came all the way back, filled in its gap. Now it's starting to turn negative here. Good thing, Carlos, you're not still in that trade. No, not acting like a hog, I guess you would say, right? No hoggishness today. Nope. Okay. tell you guys what. Oh man, I'm staying textbook, but there are some options. I'll bring it to the forefront in our trading pod a little bit later. There's definitely seeing some options here on some different charts, but I wanna stay textbook, so and just remember in a sideways market and whatnot, you're gonna get signals not only to the upside, but then also to the downside. And you really want to play those extremes there. So intraday wise, right now everything's really turning south. And to me, it's like the Russell is dragging it down. And I guess you would say the Nasdaq's not really helping that much either. So could you like, yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to flip stance, could you flip stance and look to go short? Answers, yeah, of course. Your best selling short opportunity would have been the Russell early this morning. The Russell individually, did it give us some understanding to go short in the morning? Yeah, it did. Just more of the question of, were you willing to do it? For Keith here, let me just kind of prop this up. I guess we can talk about it more in a trading pod session, but you know, these lows here, this is a daily chart of the Russell, you know. These lows here were broken. You can really see the momentum that this thing captured as soon as those lows were broken. This thing just nailed it to the downside. Previous day high is 24.20, and today's high is 25.50, so it breaks by a little bit. On a 10-minute chart, you know, this right here misses that extreme high just by a little bit, and that's 940. This is 1010, and that's a big move to the downside. And I guess they did not like whatever Wash was saying. Wash. Wow. Okay, so that's really what you were looking for it to go near down to those extremes down there. And then if you get a textbook play, now you can feel free to go with that. Got it, says Keith. Very good. All right. Well, here's the thing. We are getting some buying pressure. So like for timing and stuff. If you really were thinking that the Dow was gonna go up and relatively here, this is the time when you kind of think more to yourself, well, is it ready for me? But from a 10-minute chart, it's really difficult to make that adjustment. It's not pretty. No, no. I was gonna say you could pull a Carlos, but no, you definitely cannot do that. it's always neat to see how like the last like 10 seconds of a candle, how it closes. But now it's setting up that we do have, well, I mean, I was going to say we do, but we don't. So now it's setting up more for like zoning, like having some demand in there for it to come back, bounce off of it. If I break this back out to a 30, we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. And then prior to the market opening 7:30, we actually went lower, and then magically we went higher. So that is absolutely lower and then higher. That's absolutely sideways. And you see how the market actually went beyond these areas, stopping people out. A good catalyst for that was the news announcement today. How's everyone doing today out there in the world of the stream? How we doing out there? Is it another day in paradise, or are we hating Friday so we can get back to Monday and trade again? Keith's like, what? What did he just say? You guys tell me. I got long on MES after I moved my stop loss to get 375 profit. Oh my goodness, my man. You are just loving the 75s, 275, 375. That's a good day. I think 650 bucks is a good day, you know? That's just most likely on nothing heavy, nothing heavy. Anywhere, I mean, I like 200, 250, but really started to notice like 600 to 800 relatively. That's more like a payout. Relatively now. That's relatively. So, good stuff there, Carlos. Can't wait to see that in the trading pod. Very good today. Yeah. Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not looking to go against the market's movement, but from a larger perspective, it's my opinion now, it's up. This moment in the marketplace is down. So there's conflicting viewpoints. And I love how Carlos is let me actually look at this. Carlos, did you do this again? This second trade of Carlos, that'll be particular. So we'll if hey, we'll see you in the trading pod. We'll be interested on that second trade there. But hmm. Yep, I'm just gonna let this do well what it wants to do right now. So because it's pushing so far beyond, this is when you walk away from relatively these charts and then you go back, you zoom out. Well, this is already done. This is why you have your homework done. You gotta readjust your lines now. It's a good time to readjust. And you get your demand zones redrawn, actually. See, I don't even like this. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm testing something out here. meditating on it. Oh, let me say it more like that. I'll share that with you guys in the trading pod. So we'll see what happens here. Not that one. Gotcha. Okay. Out of all these, probably this 10-15 demand zone is of interest if it wants to get there. Mm-hmm. Mm. Technically speaking, if you wanted to kind of switch over, I'm not a fan of switching, so you forgive me for saying that, but if you want to kind of switch over to the ES instead of the Dow, you could. It's just a lot of different, setups that you can look at. So either the Dow or the ES, and then just kind of stay focused on it, of course. And that might mean not to kind of get in a trade right now just because of all the volatility that's going on. Whoa, that's a lot. If you want to, you could get probably long the MYM. Hmm. I think I might try to do 3 here.
Order filled.
That's nice. just having like a little try. That's all I am. Oh no, I gotta get back to my target. That's not where the target should be. Hold on. So I just had to move that because you know, as soon as you get into a trade, you just have to readjust your setups. That's all. A really good target, you know, actually for today might be 53,700. I kind of need to just let me re-look at this. Um, I'm just trying to be objective with it at this exact moment. Hmm. And you should definitely expect to be a little bit chopped up, you know. So, 'cause right now it's got to break through this junk right here. You do one or two things. You can take it back to the Globex. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Okay. That's probably what I'm gonna do. Just let me just move it there right now. And then I'm just really watching. I'm going back to my targeting charts. I'm just saying to myself, you know, it's a sideways day, it's Friday. I don't expect too much. There's nothing wrong with targeting the Globex high, you know, like where we had come from. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me look at this from a 5-minute chart. You see, like right here, we get, I'm going to call it indigestion. You have like selling, right? I mean, there's a sense that you want to give it enough time, absolutely, to work, but you also don't want to, because it's sideways. You don't want it to come deep. You know, you don't want it to come deep back into here. So yeah, there's 53,700. You know, that that was of interest. It's moved enough. I'm just gonna move my stop from where it is and just, you know, this is just Just a light trade. I went to the micro, not like me, as you guys know, but I went to the micro sideways and decided to size it correctly for the sideways day, and then, just pulled the trigger on that entry. I wasn't like looking that, oh my goodness, I'm gonna absolutely kill it kind of thing. That wasn't like the idea here. So if you go and look at the 60-minute chart, it's gonna be really telling what happens here in just a minute, because it really is a straight up doji candle there. So I just want the strength here to keep going. If it doesn't keep going, it's just a little commission. I'm literally, I'm not looking at the chat. I'm going back right now in my notes and just kind of putting in like what happened. Because yes, the macro is relatively up, but today's intraday movements were down, and you can't expect for everything, to be a hero here. So when I get into a trade, I like to just, because there's nothing for me to do at this moment. So I just like to come back in and just type everything in. And whatever happens, happens. Funny thing is the high here is literally 53,700. So this is like more the Globex high. So that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm not, again, not being hoggish or anything. It's just, it's a sideways movement. That can definitely happen. Like, it's on a sideways day, right? Things like to go back to those areas. And if you look, oh my goodness, if you look at the ES, oh man, the ES is just ripping things apart. The NASDAQ is going off the charts, like literally. The NASDAQ has completely reversed, a complete 180. I know that's why people enjoy it, but mm, I just leave my own opinions to myself. We go into the trading pod. The ES is breaking through its 3-hour. It's actually breaking through the daily chart, and we gotta ride this tide. Okay, I'm not changing anything. The idea appears to move the target up to 53,800, and 'cause that's more like a 3-hour push. But and then use your stop management protocol to manage the stop. So the stop is exactly where it should be. Okay. if you're happy with, $190, just again, you got to know the environment that you're in and know it's a Friday and that type of stuff. And let's say you have a tea time coming up, or maybe you're going to go catch a matinee. You could, move your stop up aggressively and lock in some profits. Or what you can do is close the trade. We don't want to get in the habit of closing trades because we're not going to be there. It's just, if you're really not going to be there, you can close the trade. But if you're going to have the ability to manage it, always manage, because you just don't know if it's going to keep going. And Luis, I don't know, Luis, if you're in here, but give a little shout out to Luis and Foundations. He was killing it. Literally, Luis was killing it on the Foundations coaching call that we had with Foundation members yesterday. So that was impressive. That was really impressive. So as we're kind of like waiting for this thing to close out, now that's a 60-minute chart. Definitely have some selling pressure on the Dow right here. 60 minutes wise, sideways. 30 minutes, again, more sideways. Still, you got your stuff sitting right there. 15 minutes would make sense just to briefly look at. This tells me it can definitely come back, stop us out right here, and then go higher. And then 10 minutes, we want to see that close up and above its 80% range. And then 5 minutes. Yeah. So if it does want to come back and hit us right here, that's okay. And then it's going to be, yo, can you bounce and go strong back up? Okay. If we take this to a daily, just to zoom us in just for a second, you can see the market that we are navigating there. And let's see, this didn't be its today, the high 814, and the high today is 788. So we jump over to the ES, you can see we've already broken out of yesterday's high, and it's really heading into this territory now. And the Nasdaq's doing the same thing here. And then the Russell, my goodness gracious, the Russell, wow, really went down low, and now it's kind of reverting back. Go to a 10-minute on the Russell just to see that. Oof. Let's go to a 5-minute, actually.
Order filled.
Oh, no, we hit our target. Oh, say it isn't so. Why? Why? Of course, that's a joke. All right, well, hey, that was pretty fun. Nailed that target. Nailed that entry. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, that felt pretty good. I mean, like I said, wasn't trying to be a hero. Targeting the Globex high there, 760. And let me just go back and just really quick look here. Um, mm, okay. Um, oh, okay. Yeah, so the target was 53,750, 53,750. And as you guys can see, right. Oh, come on now. Right. Come on. Right there. 53,750. So just going for that Globex high and just putting it right there. Yeah, we got to it. Yeah, good trade. Now I can log it, take a screenshot of it, and put it in. And I was using my stop management protocol to help me, right, to adjust as I needed. And the idea was coming into my mind to be targeting the high of the previous day, and that being the absolute target because we're just kind of so close to it, 811. So that'd be 100 more points. Um, and the reason that idea appeared, and this is the lesson, in the trading pod we can talk about later, is that because the ES, that's why I was going to all those different markets. Like the ES had done it, the NASDAQ had done it. So the thought is, well, why can't the Dow Jones do it? Now, could a Russell do it? No, I wouldn't be agreeable to the Russell because it's it's just moves too far to the south. But for the ES and the NASDAQ, it definitely happened. And I tell you what, the Dow really didn't move the way that it should have. On the open, it was the strongest, but then the S&P and the NASDAQ really pulled over. So, like for Carlos that was trading on the S&P, and Carlos, I'm talking to you. I want you to kind of go back, meditate now and think to yourself like, could I have stayed in for a longer ride? So for you and everyone that's a pit trader, we got to get more of these outlier trades when they appear. Now, did you know that it was going to appear this way? No, not at all. Did you know that Friday was going to be like this? No, not at all. But we could always learn from it. So the next time it appears, and you better believe your bottom dollar that next time it will appear, that you have some data points, and then you can make the right decision for what you need to be doing. So that's one of the most important things about going back and learning. Going back and learning. So let's see here. So on the Dow today, got in at 640 and we got out at 750. Yeah. Did I type that in right? Looks like I typed it in wrong. So 750 minus the 640. There you go. So it's 110 points today. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay, especially for the Dow that's not really doing that much. Really curious right here that, it might break it. Am I going to sit here for the rest of the day and kind of like go through that? Most likely not. So I am happy with the target right there. Again, sideways targeting the Globex high. So just a little bit of, uh, just a little bit. If I go back to the 10-minute, because the 10-minute was really the trade. just putting the answers here on the board. Putting the answers on the board. Isn't that funny? Oh, I think it's going to go for the all-time. I think it's going to break the high. That would be exciting. 53,640. Yeah, on such a volatile day today. Kind of had to, you had to play it. Without, my friends, and Luis, I don't know if you're in here, but hesitation or reservation. You see the signal, you gotta rock and roll. That's just kind of how it is. It's almost there. It's almost there. You can do it. 53,811 is the all-time high. You know, well, not the all-time high, but you know, it's yesterday's high. So 53,811. There it is. Let's make it a gold color. A gold color, a dark brown color. But that to me is gold. Let's make it a thicker color. And to help it get through it, or to, you know, magnetize itself, we'll dash the line. There we go. We're going to cheerlead that thing. Even though we're not in it, we're going to cheerlead it that way, okay? And that would have been fun. The 200 plus points, you know, that's a good day. Everybody's happy, but let me look back at the chat. Sorry that took a minute to look back. Keith says Keith's having a good time here. Keith's having a good time. So, Luis, are you here with us, Luis? I see we got some more watchers. Feel free if you came in late and you want to say hi, say hi. Anthony, did you catch that ride? Carlos, any ride? I mean, of course, we'll go back in our trading pod and, you know, talk about the X, the Y, and the Z. But now that was a good trade. And like I said, you know, I felt good about it. I just felt good about it. I guess another really training and learning point here is notice how I stayed, and I hope my other pit traders stayed cool, calm, and collected. And I didn't get in the hustle and bustle or the jostle when some other traders were rocking and rolling, and I just stayed in my zone. I stayed like a quarterback in the pocket, and I just played the play. Hey, I practice this thing. You know, sometimes I miss the pass, sometimes I'll throw an interception, but I know that my accuracy is on point and it's a high probability play, so I'm not going to get jostled to the left or to the right. I'm going to stay focused. And as you guys know, I kind of coined the term pure focus, and having that pure focus and entering without hesitation or reservation and just letting the plan do exactly what it was designed to do. That was really about it. So yes, congratulations everybody. We did get there. We are at 53,811. That's extremely exciting. Very happy for our markets today. As we just yet again got to the high right here, and we actually hit it and broke through it. So that is just absolutely beautiful. And look at Anthony flexing his muscles. He's a flexer out there. What a wild animal. We'll look back at that in just a second. But jumping over to the ES, you can see that's, oh my goodness, we broke that high. That's a beautiful thing. I love that. The NASDAQ is breaking highs. You know, I like it when it goes up. And why do I like that? Because that's everyone's 401k. I mean, that's your pension plan. And you're still getting a pension. That's why you get a pension. It's going up. That's your 401ks. That's your Roth IRAs. That's your retirement. I mean, never ever be upset when we go up. It's a beautiful thing. I'm sure Chris is either here or not here, but Chris is probably like, man, this was my day. Chris is our all-time bull. He's our all-time bull, and especially on the ES. I mean, the ES and him just love each other. But I'm starting to get a thinking that the ES might be loving Carlos a little bit more. So gonna have a little competition there, a little competition. Anthony says, got the ride. Ooh, that sounds kind of cool. Got the ride on the Dow for 450. Just hit my target. Look at. Were you targeting that that high right there, or that 3 hour there, Anthony? And great job to Anthony. Great job to Carlos. You know, write that in, Anthony, if you're still there. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. Nice. Good job riding that wave. Wasn't that pretty easy, Anthony? Carlos, did you follow your plan? Anthony, did you follow your plan? Make sure you write that in there and be honest with me, okay? Be honest. Because we'll put some more things together in the trading pod for you guys. So, Anthony, great job on that. So I was targeting the Globex high here, and then Anthony, good go on that all time. That 811 right there. Good. And if anyone's still in it, oh my goodness, it is now time to, I don't know. I mean, what do you say? I mean, your swan song has been playing for quite a while, and I think it's time to say adios. Okay, let me double check here. Yes, I did follow my rules. See, isn't it wonderful to have rules that work? Anthony said, yes, I definitely followed my rules. I love it. Great job, guys. Following the rules, letting them work, and good things can happen to us. I love it. That's great. That's very, very good. And then, again, we just have to be patient. We just had to be patient, okay? So, guys, we'll probably leave it there. Let me give you like 60 seconds. Does anyone want to say anything else? Maybe we should all say thank you to the market. Thank you, Mr. Market, for the easy trade today with rules that work. I think that is fun, right? Something like that. You know, definitely getting your vitamin G. I feel like I'm getting the vitamin G from all the pit traders, a sense of gratitude that they were able to pass the assessment, to be trained, to have those rules, and that these rules are working for them more than they're not working. And that's that vitamin G. Okay, the vitamin of gratitude. It's a powerful vitamin. Make sure you get that vitamin in you. And of course, just want to be 100% transparent. If it didn't work today, I would still be grateful and thankful. And I'd say, yo, that's okay. I'm stuck in and I'll learn. And come next time, I'll rock and roll. I'm not going to change anything. Sometimes we go into a desert. Sometimes we go into a little spell. It's not a good feeling, but that's how what do they say? You really know someone when they go through adversity. And the same thing with your trade plan. You really get a sense of, hey, is it working? Am I cut out for this? Am I jiving with it during those times when it's not working so well? And what gets you through it all, is the risk management side of everything, okay? So I know I just gave you another dissertation. Yeah, please forgive me for continually teaching, continually reminding you of what we at all times need to know. And other than that, that's really everything. And I hope you guys have a great day.